Hello there guys and welcome back to Blues Fans TV for my live review of my live not working of my live review of Chelsea 0, Manchester United 2, and honestly guys, I could not be more pissed off. I could not be more pissed off right now. Like, what on earth is that? I mean, first of all, we're bloody injury FC, right? I mean, everyone is injured. We're about the only club in world football that manages to have a winter break and have about 5 times the injuries after the winter break than we did before. Lampard has to be, has to answer some sort of questions about some of these injuries because some of it is very, very questionable in my opinion. Also, still playing Willy Caballero. What's that all about? I'm not a fan of it. Some people might be. I'm personally not. And then VAR. What on earth is VAR doing? What on earth is VAR doing? Now, we need to, completely revamp VAR in the Premier League. It's nowhere. And I watch a lot of football. Nowhere is it as bad as in the Premier League, and I know in the first seasons in Italy and also in Germany it was a big problem. And you could say, the Premier League needs more time to get used to it. Yes, but the Premier League should have the experiences of those foreign leagues as an example already. It's not like we didn't know about that happening, and if that's not, well, maybe that's why Brexit happened. Because, it's a serious problem. It's ridiculous. Let me just, get my OneFootball app out to, get the lineup so I don't miss anything. Of course, as you can see, this video is sponsored by OneFootball. So please go down below and download the OneFootball app via that link that is in the first line of the description. That'd be massively appreciated. But yeah, let's just get into it really because I'm furious. When I saw the lineup, I was like, what on earth is this? A little bit before the lineup came out, we already kind of found out that Hudson-Odoi was not going to be fit. We didn't actually know about Tammy Abraham, but he also wasn't available to start. So it was a 4-3-3/4-2-3-1 formation, kind of a 4-3-3 to start with, and then very early in the game we changed into a 4-2-3-1. Willy Caballero again in goal. Still not a fan of that. Don't know why Lampard keeps does it again. I don't understand unless he's completely set on selling Kepa in the summer. I mean, we conceded 4 goals in the last 2 games. Clearly, it's not solving all of our issues. And I'm not saying Caballero's at fault for most of these goals at all. He was at fault for 1 goal at Leicester. That was an absolute howler. Could have done a bit better for Martial's header, maybe. No, he couldn't save it, but he could have been positioned better. But I still don't think he can save it. And neither would have Kepa. But that's the same situation was the case for Kepa for the most part. That most of the goals he conceded, he couldn't really do much about. So, I'm not really sure why that's happening. The back 4 was pretty much as expected. Andreas Christensen and Rudiger to do centre backs, Reece James at right back, and Azpilicueta at left back. Then a midfield 3 of what I hoped for and what I predicted. Jorginho as the deepest of them, Kovacic to his left, and N'Golo Kante to his right. Even though Kante was, as a few times already this season, the highest of the 3, which I'm still not a fan of. But Kante, of course, had to come off very soon into the game already with an injury, anyway. So, and that was a problem. And then the front 3, with Keller Hudson-Odoi being injured, with Christian Pulisic being injured, with Hakim Ziyech not being signed until the summer, our 2 wingers were Willian and Pedro. It's February of 2020, and our 2 wingers in a Premier League game against Manchester United were Willian and Pedro. What kind of reality am I living in? What kind of reality am I living in? I mean, that is just absolutely outrageous. That is just absolutely outrageous. And up front, by the way, was Michy Batshuayi because Tammy Abraham wasn't fit. Which I just have to question. Lampard, any blind man watching that Leicester game 2 weeks ago could see that Tammy isn't fit. He just couldn't turn. His ankle was clearly sore. He wasn't fit. Why did you start him? I mean, he was okay, somewhat okay to start that game. And now 2 weeks later, with a week off, he's not even able to be on the bench. I don't understand. And the whole Callum Hudson-Odoi situation with some sort of hamstring problem, I don't understand either. How can he be on a winter break, have a week off, and then have a week's training, have a bit of a hamstring problem already for a couple of days, miss a little bit of training, and now not be fit? How does this happen in a fucking winter break? It's ridiculous. Previously, before the game, we read that he was playing with the hamstring problem for a few games. That was then kind of what Lampard said a few days, so I'm not sure whether it was meant to be a few games that he already played with the problem, or whether it's just a few days before the game. Not sure. If it's a few games, why did he start with a Willian at Leicester? I don't understand. But getting into the game, we actually started pretty well. Not gonna lie, we started pretty well. Better team. Reece James had a shot just off target. Willian had a decent shot, not far off the top corner. And then we had one other chance. Was that Michy already? Can't even remember, to be honest. Can't even remember. What I do remember though is N'Golo Kante going down injured when no one really knew why he went down injured. I think it's some sort of groin problem. Might have been a hamstring. I didn't see a replay of it personally. Don't know what happened. He had to come off for Mason Mount in the 12th minute already. So that was obviously brilliant. So that was brilliant. And then United came into it for a little bit for like the next 8 to 10 minutes after Kante had to come off. But then we, took control of the game again. United didn't create anything. They really didn't. And, we came into our own again. Batshuayi kind of had a sitter. Great play on the left, by the way, with Pedro and Mount. And Mount then cuts it back to Batshuayi on his left foot. I know it's his weaker left foot, but he just puts it wide of the goal. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how? Like, I know it's not his stronger foot, like I say, but you got to get that on target, lad. Like, if you're trying to fight for your spot and you're not that good overall as a footballer anyways, and your main skill is finishing, and then your finishing is like it was today, I mean, that's just outrageous. That's just outrageous. And then, pardon me, I forgot, not sure what order it happened in. 20-something minute, 21st, 22nd, something like that. Harry Maguire in a duel with Michy Batshuayi. They go for the ball after along the sideline pass by Aspie, I think it was. Maybe Rudiger, don't remember, doesn't matter. They go into it. Maguire tries to clear it. Michy leans into it. They both kind of fall over the sideline into the dugout area. Maguire is falling onto his back, literally like falling backwards. Michy Batshuayi is, coming towards him. And Maguire just kicks him right in his ballsack. He literally wanted Batshuayi to never to have kicked again. Like, what? And then VAR looks at it and says, no violent conduct. Like, that was about 10 times as bad as the whole Son situation against Spurs. And that was a red card as well, and was rightly so, given as a red card. Because that was a tiny kick, like a tiny getaway kick because Rudiger was stood right over Son. A kick nonetheless, it's violent conduct. This one was just kicking him purposely in the balls. Like, what on earth? How on earth is that just, like, not a red card? Like, sod on. Like, just how? Like, I understand the ref not seeing it. But VAR, like, how can you look at that and decide, no, mate, that's not a red card? I don't understand. And genuinely, the VAR, all this does is rather than Anthony Taylor, who I'm pretty sure is the name of today's ref, who, by the way, was born in Manchester. Not saying that's necessarily why today things happened the way they did, but still. What was I saying? I don't understand why it's like the VAR situation, that guy, whoever the referee was, just looks at the screen rather than the screen on the pitch, going onto the sideline and watching a video. I know he can be pressured into, a certain decision. But at least we know who to fucking blame then. Like, at least we know. Because like this, it's a disgrace. Like, it can't keep going like this. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then just before the break, first of all, by the way, Martial absolutely elbowed the shit out of Christensen. Should have been a red card. Well, I say should. Should be is a bit of a strong word, but it could have been a red card in my opinion. Definitely yellow. Didn't even get booked. So, cheers for that, ref. And that is actually the ref on the pitch, by the way, that didn't even book him because it was so obvious. I know Christensen came steaming in and, kind of fouled him anyways, but before he fouled him, before Christensen kind of fell back and did into his legs, Martial just elbows him in the face. Elbows him in the face. A minute after that, we concede. Through Anthony Martial, Wan-Bissaka with a good cross from the right-hand side. And Christensen is in a duel with Martial. A guy with possibly a broken nose that was then taken off at half-time. Yeah, that happened. Antonio Rudiger, in my opinion, I don't understand what he was doing there. I'm not saying the goal is necessarily to be blamed on him. But I don't think Christensen, with his injury, should be left on his own marking Martial. While Rudiger just pushed up from the same line as Christensen for no good reason. There was only James there. But James was covered by another player already. So I don't really understand what Rudiger was trying to do. I'm not saying he's at fault for the goal. But I don't understand what he did. And, because Christensen's injured, don't leave him on his own. Like, do you know what I mean? Even if Martial isn't usually that good in the air. But, don't let him be on his own. That was a good header. Caballero's positioning wasn't ideal. But the header was brilliant into the right by the post, right into the side netting. So nothing you could do about that. That was pretty much half-time, right? Going into the second half, we actually score. In the 56th minute through Kurt Zouma. From a corner, from a situation where we arguably should have just scored already. Brilliant. Well, I say brilliant. It was kind of a somewhat fortunate attack for us to have it that way. But Pedro just took about 5 hours to actually shoot. Like, we played our way through. The ball is played out to Aspie. He crosses it into the box. It was intercepted by Maguire. And the ball's just loose. Pedro is the only one literally running straight at it. Takes way too long to properly sprint at it. Shoots. I think Wan-Bissaka somehow, while already being on the floor, manages to get up kind of in time to kind of get a deflection on the ball, and it goes out for a corner. We get that corner. Ball is played into the middle. The ball somehow ends up at Kurt Zouma's feet, and from his knee with his foot, He bangs it into the bottom right corner. What happens? VAR looks at it, ruled out for a foul by Aspilicueta. I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, he kind of does shove Ben Williams there. It's Ben his first name Williams anyway. They're kind of left back, left wing back, whatever he is. And then I see the replay again, and Fred just pushes Aspie for no good reason, and then Aspie is kind of just pushed into Williams. So if anyone committed a foul here, it's Fred committing a foul on Aspie. Like, he's pushed into the guy. He can't stop that movement by then. Like, what on earth? Like, what? Like, how? What is the ref doing? Like, what is VAR doing? How on earth can you rule that out for a foul by Aspilicueta when Aspilicueta is being fouled and then shoved into the other guy? Like, just sod on. What is this? VAR is an absolute disgrace. Kevin Friend, wasn't it? I think the commentator said Kevin Friend was the VAR referee. Like, what the like, come on now. It's ridiculous. Like, what is that? Like, shit just needs to be sorted out. I mean, that just ruined football. That just ruined football. It's an absolute disgrace that was ruled out. It's an absolute disgrace. And then, all right, it's still 1-0 at that point. Everything's kind of to play for, even though we've kind of had one bad situation after the other with the Maguire one. They go 1-0 down. Kante's already had to come off injured with the goal being disallowed and everything. And then Pedro turns into Pedro again. And he generally wasn't that bad today. Was better than Willian. But then Pedro turns into Pedro just being an absolute prick. An absolute prick. And does that thing where he's facing our own goal in our own half, and instead of just passing it to some easy passing options, whether it's on the centre backs, the goalkeeper, the left back, doesn't matter. He just runs around trying to do zigzags, loses the ball, gives a foul away. From that free kick, Fernandes hits the post. Bruno Fernandes hits the post, and I'm not saying it comes directly from that, but then they have another free kick after that. Nothing happens from that. We hit on the break. Jorginho's pass to Mason Mount. Mason Mount just doesn't have that footballing brain, it seems. He always just runs in a straight line, right? He never contemplates the fact that it could be an option that the straight through ball, the very deep through ball, is not always an option. Like, that doesn't even come into his mind. Like, the amount of times normal, decent passes are played into Mount, and he has to stop from full sprint, and the Man United player was there 5 times quicker than him, or the amount of times that happens usually in other games as well, is ridiculous. But basically, from that situation then, we give away a corner in the end, and then Harry Maguire steps up. The guy that should have been sent off for a clear kick into Michy Batshuayi's nuts steps up to make it 2-0. What? What? Like, just like, I didn't even know you could score from the dressing room. Apparently you can. Well, only if you're Man United, because then VAR don't work against it, does it? There's a reason they've had 9 bloody penalties already this season. Maybe it's 7. But loads more than any other team. And I know we take the piss out of Liverpool and Liverpool and everything, but Manchester United is on another bloody level. Like, that was ridiculous today. That was ridiculous. And it was a good header, and it was a good corner by Bruno Fernandes. And I'm not saying Caballero should do better, but I would have definitely, if Kepa was playing, I would have definitely seen people that would have said, why is Kepa not even anywhere near it? Caballero wasn't anywhere near it. Not saying Caballero should have done better for it and should have saved it. No, because he can't. It's a great header, and it's fairly, the placement was fairly good. But, like, and by the way, I've put, like, polls up there with the I button, so click that I button, and then you can vote whether you think Harry Maguire should have been sent off, and whether you think Chelsea's first goal should have been disallowed. If you're a United fan, please try to be honest. Because, there's no point. Like, it's anonymous anyway. No one will know it was you that voted, yeah, okay, Maguire should have been sent off. But please vote, because I'd be very intrigued. I'd be very intrigued what people say. Right, we're 2-0 down. And then we have another goal disallowed, which is, of course, great banter. The second goal, by the way, was in the 66th minute. Olivier Giroud was warming up for the time being. Olivier Giroud was warming up. Comes on, for Michy Batshuayi straight after the goal. Pretty much was fuming. Michy Batshuayi, in the meantime, kind of bottled another 3-4 situations where he should have done a bit better. None as clear as the one in the first half that he just put wide when he should have just scored. But still. And then Olivier Giroud comes on. Literally a minute on the pitch. Backheel through balls. Kovacic through on goal with the Gea, 1-on-1 with the keeper. Kovacic takes about half an hour to actually decide to shoot. Bailly comes in with a brilliant tackle and takes the ball from him. But Kovacic, I know scoring is not your thing, but like, come on, shoot. Come on, lad. You're 1-on-1 with the keeper. Just shoot. It's ridiculous. But that was brilliant by Giroud. And then Giroud actually scores from a really nice Mason Mount cross. But he was about that far offside. And it was a correct decision. That VAR call was correct. Don't know whether we would have come back to 2-2, let alone win it anyways, whether that goal would have stood or not. But that was a correct decision, so that Giroud goal was correctly ruled offside. And then for the rest of the game, nothing much happened. Mason Mount hit the post late on where David De Gea decided, oh, I might have broken my collarbone. Oh, I might have done. I might have just flown into the bloody post of the goal. Actually, you didn't, mate. Actually, you didn't fly into the post at all. At all. Didn't even touch it. Touch it with his chest. Held his collarbone. His right collarbone as well. Like, if he at least held his left one that he fell onto because, you know, it was diving towards his left post. No, hit his right one. What? Like, sod on. Like, absolute prick. Time wasting is one thing, but, like, that's just being a dickhead now. Because he was literally staying down while, you know, play was going on. But because he's the goalkeeper, obviously the ref stops play, right? Obviously the ref stops play when the goalkeeper is down. So that was brilliant. Not that it would have made a difference, and not that we would have still gotten a draw or a win out of that, but it's just a dick move. Like, don't do that. It's unnecessary. And that was then it. And that was it for the game. That was it for the game. And to talk about a couple of things, because Frank Lampard does have a few questions to answer for himself. Like, even I, and you lot know, if you watch my videos on here quite regularly, you know I don't rate Olivier Giroud pretty much at all, right? Especially as a finishing striker, even though the header that was offside anyways was brilliant. Good header. But he's awful in the air, like, because that was kind of a diving header. But he's awful in the air, always mistimes everything, mistimes every jump, and he's just very slow. And he's a bit too playful. He's kind of like a centre-back in the box. Always tries to lay it off again, rather than actually shoot and try to score. Which is obviously not ideal. But even I said, if Tammy Abraham wasn't fit for this game, Olivier Giroud has to start. Michy Batshuayi starts again. We've already seen him start against Man United, Lamps, in the League Cup, when I know he scored a good goal as well, but for literally all the other, I don't know whether he played the whole 90 minutes, but for all of the other time that he was on the pitch for in that game, was bloody awful. Like, it's not the first time that we've seen this. It's not the first time that we've seen this. And if you want to stop with the, you know, the homophobic statements in the comments, that'd be appreciated. But if you want to be a homophobe, I mean, have fun. If you're proud of yourself, brilliant. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. I hope you're proud of yourself. But any which way, let's go on with that. Why does Olivier Giroud start? And then you see the first half, you see how bad he was again, Michy was. And then you don't make a sub. And I know we had the problem that, by the way, I forgot to mention it, Zuma had to come on for Christensen at half-time when Christensen possibly broke his nose or whatever other injury he picked up with the elbow by Martial, when he was then a minute later kind of at fault for conceding the goal. But can you really blame him when he has to then be taken off a minute later? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure whether you can really blame him, to be honest. Let me just take a drink of my tea. You people are just weird. You people are just weird. Anyways, going on with that, like, why does Olivier Giroud come on soon? Why doesn't he start? Like, I know you don't like him and rate him that much, Lamps, but surely you should have seen enough of Michy Batshuayi now to see that he's just not it. Like, he's just not it at the moment. Like, since Amsterdam, where he was good, and he came on and he obviously scored that huge winner. I was in Amsterdam for that. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But since then, he's done nothing. I mean, most of our players have done nothing, to be fair. I mean, Tammy has scored, what, 2 or 3 goals since then? So, you know, no one has really done a lot. Fair enough. But still, why do you keep starting Batshuayi? And I understand that he wanted another striker in January because he doesn't want Batshuayi or Giroud. But then when you only have those two, please start Giroud. And, like, even I say it, and I really don't rate Giroud. Like, it's ridiculous. And I know he can't necessarily be blamed for Hudson-Odoi being injured and for Pulisic being injured, although the Pulisic one is another dodgy one, so I don't know what about a medical staff is the problem at the moment. Like, it is kind of a serious problem. So, I don't know. I really don't know. And someone just put both our goals were correctly disallowed. So, let's just ignore the fact that Fred just pushes Azpilicueta into Williams. Let's just ignore that. All right, fair enough. Whatever helps you sleep at night, mate. Whatever helps you sleep at night. But the fact that we had Pedro and Willian on the wings was just outrageous. Like, it was just outrageous. I would have rather seen Mason Mount start over either Pedro or Willian. I would have, before the game, said Pedro. But after the game, probably would have said Willian. Because Pedro was, well, not a lot better than Willian by any means. But better, I thought. Better. Because we had a couple of good performances today. Rudiger, even though he lost the header against Maguire, is a difficult one. Like, as much as I sometimes blame Rudiger, Maguire is such a tall and strong guy, and I know Rudiger's run wasn't ideal on his movement, but fair enough, you can't win every header, and I know we're not that good at it, but generally he shouldn't be just one-on-one with Maguire anyway. Thank you for the $2 donation. I'd rather have Alonso than Pedro at the wing. To be honest, yeah, but Pedro, in my opinion, was still better than Willian today. Still better, except for when he tried to do a zigzag in a row box, so that was obviously ridiculous. Rudiger was brilliant. Like, okay, still don't really know what he was doing for the first goal. Maybe he could have tried to help out Christensen, but that is maybe asking a bit too much in that situation. Could have done a bit better for the second goal as well, but other than that, he was brilliant. Like, the amount of duels he won, the amount of tackles he successfully completed, like, he was absolutely brilliant today. I also thought Christensen was brilliant until he got elbowed in the face, and then, obviously it wasn't fault for us conceding the goal. I thought it was brilliant in the first half. Kovacic was also brilliant, absolutely brilliant, except for when he was 1-1 with the keeper and bottled it. And also Mason Mount, for some parts, not the entire game by any means, especially the second half, he struggled more. But when he came on first half, I thought it was good. More lively and fresh and better on the ball than I've seen him in recent weeks, before obviously the winter break. So, there's some positives, I guess. They were good. But other than that, Reece James was decent. I'm not going to say he was brilliant because he barely crossed the ball today. So, that's his biggest strength. Don't know why he didn't do it more. Aspie worked his socks off. Not going to say a bad word about Aspie today. Jorginho was kept very quiet by Man United. They really tried to almost man mark him, or whoever was closest to him was always very close to him. But at least Jorginho managed to not get booked, which means he's not suspended, because that would have been his 10th booking, meaning he would have been suspended for the next 2 games, which would have been Spurs and Bournemouth. At least now he's available for Spurs next weekend, which I'm going to be at, by the way, which I'm very much looking forward to, although a little bit less so if things, if we keep being injury FC and everything. So that's a bit of a ball ache. Kovacic, like I said, brilliant. Kante, should we sell Kante at this point? He's turning into bloody Robin and Gareth Bale at this point. Like, this is his 8th injury in the last year. It's a bit much, mate. It's a bit much. Also, Lampard keeps playing him as almost a number 10 anyways, which is a bit silly. It is a bit silly. So I don't really understand the whole point of that situation, to be honest. I don't really understand the point. Please like the channel. Yeah, please like the channel. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV. Also, drop a like on this live stream if you're watching this right now. Whether you're a United fan, Chelsea fan, or anyone else, please drop a like. That'd just be massively appreciated. But yeah, I will just finish off kind of my couple of other things, and then I will get to what you guys might have to say and answer a couple of those things as well. I know I've been blabbing on for a long time today, but with the VAR situation and everything, that's just a lot to talk about. So let's just keep going. Other than that, is there any players that I forgot to mention? Yeah, William was poor, didn't really do much. Pedro was okay, but still bad. Just in Pedro's terms, he was okay. Batshuayi, bloody hell. Like, bloody hell. But yeah, the injury problem. Who knows whether Hudson-Odoi is going to be fit for Spurs? Who knows whether Tammy is going to be fit for Spurs? Who knows whether Kante is now going to be fit for Spurs? Kovacic looked like he picked up some sort of ankle problem when Bailly slid in to stop him from scoring when he was 1-on-1 with De Gea. Someone else looked a bit sore at the end. Pedro looked like he had a bit of a cramp or a muscle problem at the end as well. Who knows? We are literally injury FC, and even Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who has been in training, full training for a while now, and was meant to play in the under-23s game between Chelsea and Arsenal tonight, didn't even make the squad in the end. Who knows why? I mean, I'm sure something was happening and it was a good reason. But still, it was said that he would play in that, featuring that. I don't know whether he would have started or come on or how much he would have played, but he wasn't even in the squad. So that's dodgy. And I just don't understand. Because I didn't think we were awful today. I thought our midfield was good today. Good. Nothing great. Just good. And I thought our defence was pretty good today. Bar 2 moments. And that's the problem. We had plenty of chances. I don't know how many shots on target we had in the end, because probably not a lot, because we really struggled to actually put anything on target. We only had 1 on target. Of course, we hit the Wahlberg with the Mason Mount. What's the word? Mason Mount free kick late on, but that would have been too late anyway. We had 2 goals disallowed. Man United should have had a man sent off, and they really should have done. And obviously, Batshuayi kind of missed that sitter. And there was other moments as well where we just didn't play it out well enough, where the final cross we didn't play a good cross into the box, even a low cross, kind of a pass, not a proper cross. We could have just done a lot better. We could have easily won that today. I know against Arsenal, I said, had they not had David Luiz sent off, we would have won. I stand by that. Today is different because Man United defended anyways. Because that's what they do. I told you, they will sit back and defend. And that's what they did. So had they had Harry Maguire, who's very important to them, sent off, that would have changed things, and we probably would have found it a bit easier to score. But we didn't. So that is what it is. The table isn't looking very good. Now we're still 4th, but just 1 point out of Spurs, so we of course playing our next game. 2 points out of Sheffield, 3 points ahead of Manchester United, 5 points ahead of Wolves, 5 points ahead of Everton, and just 7 points ahead of Arsenal, who are 10th. So that top 4 race is obviously becoming a bit more tricky. Even if Manchester City obviously are banned from the Champions League and probably 5th will go to the Champions League. Like, it's still very close to 5th as well, so we need to beat Spurs. We should have won today, but we didn't, so it's like a big problem. Now I'm going to get to a couple of things that you guys put in the chat, because I've already been going for 25 minutes. Someone said, who's getting top 4? Guys, from a United perspective. Okay, maybe you didn't ask me. I'm going to answer anyway. Well, obviously Liverpool will. Obviously Leicester will at this point. Man City still will, probably. I mean, it just depends on our injuries, isn't it? Like, when Pulisic comes back, when Hudson-Odoi is fit, when Ruben comes back, I think we can get a good few wins together. But the problem is, since, I think, November 12th, we've only won 4 Premier League games. It's February what? February 17th. And we've won 4 Premier League games since November. And we haven't won back-to-back Premier League games. I know there was a lot of cup games in between and some Champions League games as well. But still, 4 Premier League games since November is bad, Lamps. Like, you need to sort yourself out. And it's a bit easy to read Lampard as well. But of course, he's also hampered by some injuries. Like, the fact that Ruben isn't there is a problem. Of course, that would have helped him if someone as brilliant as Ruben was available. Of course, it would help him if Pulisic, if it's all true, wasn't injured. You know, if Tammy wasn't injured, if we weren't so reliant on Tammy, if we would have signed someone in January, if we would have just paid 20 million more, and then we probably could have had Ziyech right now rather than just in the summer. But still, some things need to change, mate. Some things need to change. To be honest, there is not much you can do with this team. Well, with this team, with the injuries, no. Maybe. But some of the injury problems, in my opinion, are down to Lampard. The fact that Tammy wasn't fit today, in my opinion, is Lampard's fault. If he doesn't play at Leicester, I presume, unless something happens in training, Tammy is fit. Because if he was fit enough for Leicester 2 weeks ago, you know, then he would have been fit enough today, because then he would have had 2.5, 3 weeks rest since the last time he played. And surely he would have been fine. He played, the injury got clearly worse, otherwise he would have played today. And it's not ideal. And obviously we've got Spurs coming up, Bayern Munich coming up, Man City at some point later on as well. So, fun. VAR needs to change. VAR does need to change. I firmly believe that the referee on the pitch needs to go look at a TV screen and make his own decisions. And then they can still get it wrong, because it's still, some decisions are still subjective. Not for offsides, obviously. Someone in a booth has to decide that. But like a red card decision, a foul decision like for the goal that was ruled out today, these things have to be decided by looking at a screen by the on-pitch referee. Because so at least I know who to blame. And it's not like splitting all of the responsibility about refereeing that game between too many people. And one person that's not even there. You know, it's literally sat in his booth, probably having a sausage roll and a gut of coffee. Probably was having a piss when Maguire kicked Batshuayi in the balls. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. William booking. Oh, yeah. Good mention. Fair point. Thank you, David M. William got booked for a dive that just wasn't a dive. It was just a foul. I mean, you can argue maybe it's not a foul, but it definitely wasn't a dive. I mean, Bruno Fernandes clearly stuck his leg out. There was a tiny amount of contact. Yeah, William jumped over it, but that doesn't mean it's not a foul, in my opinion. I'm not sure about the exact rule books, but in my opinion, if someone's sprinting and you're just flying in and he's jumping over you while sprinting, and then he tumbles after because he can't get his footing right after jumping, I mean, is he meant to just run into you and risk himself getting injured? No. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going over a leg, just to make sure you don't get your ankle stuck, you don't tear any ligaments in your ankle, you don't hurt yourself, not in your knee, anything. But it was outside the box anyway, so it wouldn't have been a penalty, so that's why I haven't mentioned it yet. As good as Chelsea did early this season, you can now see the effect of them tiring out right now, banter side. I'm not sure whether it's tiring out as such. I think it's a lot of injuries. I think it's a lot of inexperience in our team. I think it's a lot of inexperience in our manager that's costing us things, and the lack of finishing. I mean, there's a reason why up until this game we had the second most amount of chances created at home behind, I don't know whether it's Liverpool or City, but one of them. But the 18th worst XG, goals conversion rate, conversion rate of chances created. That's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? That is ridiculous. But guys, I'm going to leave it here. Ref Anthony Taylor from Manchester, and VAR assistant is Chris Kavanagh from Manchester too. Oh, Chris Kavanagh was it, not Kevin Friend. He's from Manchester too. Yeah, great banner. Great banner. Bayern going to kill us if we don't get momentum. Now, Bayern are good, but they're not that good. I still think we can beat them. Not beat them necessarily, but I still think we can look all right against them. I think we can beat them, but let's talk about that on another day. I'm going to leave it here, guys. Really do appreciate all of you guys that have tuned in. I've been going for a while. I'm not sure why that thing was gone. Did I unclick that by accident? Oh, didn't mean to do that. Well, that was me really clicking the wrong thing. Oh well, is what it is, I guess. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Download the One Football app via the first link in the description. That'd be massively appreciated. It really helps us out. It's the best football app out there. So, you know, you will want to download it, I think. So please go down below and download it. That'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any of our future content. Make sure you hit the notification bell button for especially that reason as well. Drop a like on this live stream if you enjoyed it. Drop a like on this video if you're watching it at a later point, and leave me your thoughts on the game. Then in the comment section below, like I said, click the polls with the I button up there, and you know, give me your opinions on the whole situations. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's upwards and onwards. No matter what we do, we have to move. Let's hope we can beat Spurs. Let's hope we can look better against Bayern than a lot of us are expecting. And I guess we move, because what else can we do? It's upwards and onwards. Up the shelves, and I'll see you when I see you.